My proudest accomplishment probably was to make it a buzzing, productive, producing place. The guy ahead of me, he was almost useless in the afternoon. That was not your dad. I was a productive guy every minute I was in the office. And I did things. And I got the people to do things. My training officer, they never stopped. They just made things better all the time. The recruiting, they claimed we didn't do very well on recruiting. Well, we were during Vietnam and so forth. We did fine. And we did a lot of, on a very limited budget. We only had $300,000 to take care of all the recruiting in the United States. That was ridiculous. But anyway, we did a lot of stuff. And then, of course, I had this charming but absolutely brilliant secretary, Edna, who made the office the sharpest office in headquarters. No question about it. We just did a lot of stuff. Edna needed a guy that could appreciate what she could do. She could just make any secretary look like they're amateurs. And she said, "Captain, I'm not too sure I can do this job." And I told her, I said, "Edna, if you can write a letter that I dictate like you just did, I can tell you we will be a super team." That's what I said to her, the first words I said to her, practically. And we were. And she just knew how to be a good secretary. She learned a lot of stuff just by looking at what I did. She liked what I did. She liked my making decisions. Nobody makes decisions like you do. Nobody makes decisions like you do. Said you get the information, you listen to all the people, and then you don't dilly-dally. You make a decision, and you get on with it. If you make a mistake, that didn't even bother you. You just go ahead and learn from it and don't do it again. It's not a big deal. You just do it, but you're doing stuff. And she liked it. But she was really good. And she just made our people very happy to be in the office. Because she was a driver, but they liked her. They didn't get it right, she would tell them. They'd go do it again. She had complete control over the people she hired.
And they knew it.
They knew it. So why would I be bothered with that when I got somebody who can do that like that? It didn't take me long to find out that Edna was unbelievably talented. She was secretary first. She went from my office, I think, to the chief of staff's office, and the edge of the office. And then she became the chief of staff secretary. And then she became the vice commandant secretary. And she would have been the commandant secretary if she'd have wanted it. She just said, "I got little kids. I don't want to be the after hours thing." It wasn't that she didn't like working, because she was like me. She would work too much, but she had little kids. I talked to her every year on this Secretary Day, and I get the most wonderful card you ever saw, and they're addressed to the boss, the best boss I ever had. She's doing fine. They're doing fine. Yeah, she's getting elderly too. Well, she was 18 in 70, so that's 50 years ago. She was big time in my office.
Yeah.
If anybody needed to know something, they didn't get it from me. They could get the information from Edna if she felt this was something she could disclose. That was pretty unusual. But everybody knew where they wanted to get their secretaries. They wanted to get them from Edna. They wanted to get somebody out of PTP. We can get new people. You can train them in a couple of weeks. Why just keep getting to get in the best, train them, move them on, let them go to some other office. We have better opportunities. Just let them move on, get some more people, train them, and then just did that.
She liked doing that.
She liked doing that. And like I said, I had this black guy and used to take care of my records in the OCS program and just make them all the same. And that was one of his big major jobs. And he used to, at noon hour, he used to give dictation to these secretaries. They could hardly wait till noon to have him give them dictation. He'd just say, can I have a couple letters to you to practice with? And Edna give him a couple letters. And he'd give them to him, you know.
That's good.
You know, we had, besides doing a lot, you asked what my biggest accomplishment was to make the office a turning and burning outfit. We were an impressive office. And we were in select people, officer candidate, officer personnel was in there, enlisted personnel, the wards and what's it called? Something else. Medals and awards, maybe, office, civilian personnel, training, and officer assignments. I was relieved by my exec.
And he was of the same ilk as you, so.
No, he wasn't really.
Oh.
No, when she said, "You're the best boss I had," she meant that.